from Abuja.
Hello, thank you for being a part of our show. We appreciate you. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and this is Magnus Kpakol GVA. As always, it's all about how we can raise the level of living. That's what it's all about. In view today, key issues and the real McCOYS of the 2019 presidential elections in Nigeria. What are the key issues before the Nigerian electorate? And who are the real gladiators to expect in the arena when the gong sounds? People want to know. To examine this, we have with us Dr. Michuola Olashupo. Dr. Olashupo teaches politics and international relations at the University of Abuja. But before this, in our hidden economics, what do prostitutes and politicians have in common? Now, up next in our quick view, we rank freedom of political rights. That's coming right up. Political rights are rights of citizens to participate in the formation and administration of government in their country. This is typically backed by the Constitution and is aimed to protect citizens' ability to exercise their freedom from discrimination and infringement. In this connection, which of the following non-Western countries is not among the worst in freedom of political rights? China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Ukraine. In sub-Saharan Africa, which of the following countries ranks the highest in freedom of political rights? Cameroon, Ghana, Rwanda, and South Africa. Stay with us for our answers coming up shortly. Still in view, key issues and the real McCOYS in 2019.
And they want some poro-potom-potom-tom. She come the pium-pium-pium-pium. Waka-waka baby, uru-uru baby, corner-corner baby. And I go tell my mama, and I go tell my papa, and I go tell am say
Wah Baby by the great Nigerian singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist and performer Chinedu Okoli, better known by his stage name Flavor Nabania or simply Flavor. Although prohibited in many countries, prostitution continues to thrive around the world as a major profession. Some people call it the oldest profession. In all consideration, prostitutes are usually very sharp in intelligence and appearance. Many young ladies have turned very successful financially by working as prostitutes. Their clients can come from any income bracket or class, and they are usually very gifted in socialization. So let us cut to the chase. Where can we possibly find a similarity between prostitutes and politicians? Let us not look very far. First, they are both human beings and driven by the economics of wanting to maximize their happiness. So what makes a prostitute happy? Well, not what you may be thinking. The real reason is drawn from the following. In economics, profit maximization is the short-run or long-run process by which a firm determines the price and output level that returns the greatest profit. So the prostitute's profit is what she's looking for. It helps to make her happy. What is the politician's profit? In theory, it is votes. So the prostitute will not be too selective in securing customers that will pay for the service to raise her income and profit. Likewise, the politician will usually just about do or promise anything just to maximize his or her votes. This makes him or her happy. Some people somehow try to disparage their political opponents who try to secure political space by going from one party to another. Folks, that's not what makes a politician look like a prostitute. Instead, what makes a politician more like a prostitute is that the politician will accept a vote from just about anyone. Notice how a politician shakes every hand, dances with everyone, and accepts every vote, regardless of political persuasion, just to win. One more thing. What real training do you receive to become a prostitute? Probably none. What real training in politics do you get to become a politician? Also, probably none. President Trump never worked as a politician or served anywhere in government before he won the presidency of the United States in one try. In both professions, what is really needed is merely on-the-job training. In most countries, except in Nigeria, people don't like to be called politicians. Likewise, most prostitutes don't like to be called prostitutes. Our hidden economics for you.
You be waka waka baby, you be chuku chuku baby, baby sawale, sawa sawa sawale, sawa sawa sawale. Pom pom, ikorokoton, pom pom, ikorokoton, pom pom, ikorokoton, pom pom, ikorokoton. Pakoloba, 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 pom pom. Ọjàrí pọ̀pọ̀, kúkú mọ́ bèbí, àkùkù rẹ́gbẹ́, pípọ́npọ́n.
Before we start our discussion, here are our quick view answers. Ukraine is the non-Western country listed here, not among the worst performing countries in the world in terms of freedom in political rights. Ghana is the sub-Saharan African country listed here that ranks the highest in freedom of political rights. For comments, adverts, and sponsorship, please see our information displayed on the screen. So let us try to examine the key issues for the 2019 Nigerian political elections. In addition, who are the real McCOYS when looking at potential candidates, especially for the presidential election? And so we have Dr. Mutiola Olashupo with us to discuss it. Dr. Olashupo teaches politics and international relations at the University of Abuja. Please join us in our discussion with Dr. Mutiola Olashupo. Okay, thank you, Doctor, for coming to our show once again.
It is my pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have you in our McCOYS studios in 2018. We're always delighted to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks much. So now 2018, speaking of 2018 has come, and this is the year the politicians have been waiting for to start their campaigns towards the 2019 elections, presidential, gubernatorial, senatorial, and all of them. So there are going to be issues that we will be looking at, Nigerians will be looking at, that is the electorate will be looking at, the kinds of issues that will be on the table. We'll be looking at who the possible gladiators are going to be. And so I like to call this discussion looking at the real issues and the real McCOYS for 2019. So who are going to be the real McCOYs? What are going to be the issues? But to get started, I'm thinking, so let's start with the issues. Let's try to look at what are the key issues that the electorate will be looking at, looking towards 2019.
Looking at the issues that are unfolding in 2018 as a preparation towards 2019 general election, before we talk about the real McCOYs, the political gladiators, and who are those people that are actually wielding a very serious influence as far as 2019 election is concerned. As I've rightly said, we need to look at the issues.
Yes.
When you look at all these issues that played up in 2015 general elections, most of those issues are still on ground. Most of those issues have not been taken care of, and it's the same issues that will be used by the political...
What are those issues?
I'm going to mention them.
Okay.
If you could recall, before 2015 general election, there are issues of insecurity, the demonic Boko Haram insurgency, particularly in the northeastern part of the country, and occasionally in some other part of the country, Kano, Abuja, and Adamawa and Co.
Yeah.
So when you look at all these issues of insecurity, I can tell you that in spite of the fact that the current administration has done reasonably well in tackling Boko Haram insurgency, the solution to Boko Haram insurgency had actually led to some other petty insecurity issues like Fulani S-men attack, kidnapping that is being known everywhere, even armed robbery. All these have become very notorious during this administration, and I must tell you that it's one of the issues that is threatening the national security in this country. So the issue of security has not been totally resolved. Then economy. You could recall that our economy was in total shambles before the advent of this administration. The same story is still repeating itself up to now. Not much has been done in reviving our economy since 2015. Going into the 3 years of this administration, our economy is still in total quagmire. Foreign exchange is still very embarrassing, and the economy downturn had actually led to hardship, exacerbating poverty, and uncertainties.
Basically, Doctor, are you just looking at President Buhari's agenda? Because it looks like what you just mentioned now were at least two of the main items that he had on his plate, where he said he was going to be tackling corruption. You didn't mention that one yet.
I've not mentioned that one. I take it one after the other.
Absolutely. He was going to be tackling insecurity and then the economy. But as far as the economy is concerned, you mentioned foreign exchange, the reserves. But our reserve level now is much better than we've had in a long time. So improvements have happened, courtesy, of course, of some of the efforts of the central bank.
As a political economist.
And then with oil prices rising. So in a way, maybe this administration can say that we had an economy that was going downhill, and they've been able to lift it a little bit.
But that has not translated into the reality in our society.
Okay, which is why
you and I can actually testify to the fact that there is a very serious hunger in the society. We have acid everywhere in the nook and cranny of this country, and there is also what I called high rate of unemployment. And that is what actually begets exacerbating poverty. So when you look at all these indices, you need to also go back to the economy. That something is terribly wrong.
So what you're looking at the real practical things,
yes,
like unemployment and poverty,
yes,
and you're right. You know, we still have problems,
yes,
you know, in those areas.
Yes.
So this would be key areas that people will be looking at.
Exactly.
That what do we do with unemployment, which is probably the most serious.
Exactly.
You know, because we've got these young people pouring from universities, from high schools
being
and
absorbed by
institutions,
any of the
and not going anywhere.
companies.
You know, as far as the labor market is concerned. So that is a serious problem. Okay, so then what about corruption?
Yes. On the area of corruption, I can tell you that
has the president not done well in
a lot has been done in tackling corruption in Nigeria, for the fact that the society today is being conscious of having anything to do with corruption, even though we still need to do more, because corruption has established itself firmly, is deep-rooted in Nigerian society. So it takes a lot of commitment and political will to stampede corruption and fight corruption to stand still. But I can tell you that many Nigerians today are being very cautious. That does not mean that there is no corruption in this administration. There's what I called underground or underneath corruption. But that is still better.
In other words, you're
society.
trying to say now that we don't have impunity.
Yes.
Because there was said to be impunity.
Exactly. Corruption with impunity in the previous administration.
Are you saying that there's no impunity now, but there's corruption? Or is there still impunity?
The level of impunity has reduced drastically in this administration.
So that said, who are the real McCOYs? Who are the real candidates that can talk on these issues? Who are the people looking towards? Who are the credible, real presidential candidates that will emerge in your mind? I know many of them have not come out publicly.
Exactly.
But who are the ones that people
I think
are
we need to
at?
categorize them into two.
Okay.
There are some that they've expressed their interest on the presidential race, and there are some that only their body language actually speaking loudly for them.
But I'm talking about the ones that people want. The ones
yes,
that people are looking
That's why
for.
I'm saying that we are going to look at it from two perspectives.
Okay.
The very first perspective, just like I said earlier on, is those who have signified their intention to contest. They made themselves available.
Yes.
While others have not done that, but their body language are actually speaking for them.
Sure.
On my list, I have Tunde Bakari as one of those who had actually signified his intention. He said God has spoken to him to be the president of Nigeria in 2019. You know, Tunde Bakari is a renowned pastor from Lagos.
Did he say that God would say he will win, or that they told him to be a candidate?
So, whichever way they put it. All he said was that the God spoken to him to contest for presidential race come 2019.
Did God tell him he will win? Because it's good to know.
I think you need to bring Tunde Bakari to this show so that you come and tell more about his presidential ambition.
Yes.
So, as a renowned pastor, he also has a certain influence among the Christian kingdom. And at the same time, he was one time a running mate to Buhari in 2011 election. Absolutely. So he has something to offer. Then we are also known that Ayodele Fayose, the incumbent governor of Ekiti State, has also signified his intention to contest. Then we have Sule Lamido, the former governor of Jigawa State. Then we have one Professor Olufunmilayo Davis from, she's a professor of language and communication arts from Rivers State University. And with all this, you could see that these are the candidates that have declared their presidential ambition so far. However, when you look at all these candidates, having examined them critically, and if I want to feel the pulse of Nigerians, I can select three major candidates that people are seeing as McCOYs. The candidates that have what it takes, that they are very presidential in nature. I can actually pick three of them. I may be wrong, and that's my opinion.
We want to see it. We want to hear them.
So let me start from the list.
Only three?
Yes, I'm selecting three.
My goodness.
Yes, I'm selecting three.
You think one of these three will be president? Should we write this down?
No. Don't quote me on that. It's just a mere analysis. And I'm going to give you the indices of what can make them to be. Although there is divergent opinions on that. I can't rule out such different opinion. The first person I'm going to mention
Recently, the political conversation in Nigeria has tilted toward the bloodshed that we have seen more than enough of in many parts of the country, and especially in Benue State, where it has been reported the Fulani herdsmen are sacking villages and killing people. Before now, the conversation had been on the economy and restructuring. As I've said before, it seems plausible to me that three damaging things may have happened from the time of independence. 1. Our colonial masters, the British, may not have properly understood what they constructed into an independent country in 1960. 2. The military, with all due respect, may have found out after seizing power, starting in the 1960s, that they may not have been the best we had in repairing any defects we may have observed and experienced after independence. Yes, they may have stopped a hemorrhage, but they obviously didn't seem to have the skills to continue treatment as long as they did. Third, the general effects of the Biafra Civil War may have not been properly sorted out. So, given these three potential sources of damage, we probably need reconstruction, or what people call restructuring. This is going to be a major issue that will consist of many political and economic strands. For the sake of time, I would only give a brief introduction to a concept I call PACE strategy for personal and economic development. PACE, P-A-C-E, stands for Position Appreciation, Confidence, and Enterprise. Any serious political candidate may need to pay attention to how we must appreciate our current position in who we are and where we are as a nation. Our nation may be struggling, but it is full of potential that can be used for energy and strength. We must then build our confidence on this to transform our nation into a place of great enterprise, progress, and happiness. Dr. Olashopo has identified some of the real McCOYS that can help to build Nigeria into a global economic power. It is not difficult at this time to agree with him. Even so, never discount the others. Nigeria is full of potential. I'm Magnus Kpakol, and that's my view.
I believe